Are we already started? Oh, I'm right on time to watch Taiwan live TV!
Hi everyone, MJ here, and of course I had to put COVID-19 in the title because that's what's on everybody's mind, but this is not a show about that. Hey Mike, how you doing? Nice to have you with us. Nice to see you, Dave, on YouTube, and Mike on YouTube. Hi everyone, MJ here. This is late night in Taiwan, although it's not really late. My watch is charging. My ECG watch is charging. So what time is it? It's 22:09 local time here, which means it's 10 p.m., 9 minutes after 10 p.m. I got my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm all yours. Now, let me explain the title. Oh, by the way, over here, you know, on the side, this is pretty cool. I like this. The thing is at the very top, and it's scrollable, at the very top it says PRISM Live Studio, and it says Taiwan Live TV is on the air. It doesn't show that announcement for Periscope, but it does show it for Twitch, and because I am broadcasting on Twitch too at the same time. The thing is yeah, we do live, yeah, well it is crazy times, absolutely. Hey Nancy, how you doing? My sister here, and see, right there, yep, how's it going? Yep, our crazy times. We can talk a little bit about it. We're not in lockdown in Taiwan. It's because we have such few cases, and fortunately, I'm going to put it bluntly, the authorities here didn't trust China from the very beginning, and back in December, when flights were landing in Taiwan from Wuhan, the CDC authorities in Taiwan already were boarding the aircraft and taking temperatures and doing all kinds of stuff, you know, and making tests and so forth. So they didn't trust the numbers from the very beginning. So that's why we can honestly say, I think everything except, hey Regina, how you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to have you with us live. Everything at this point is known. So yeah, all the new cases virtually are either imported or maybe the relative of somebody who's imported, but it's not community spread right now. So, but nevertheless, a mask is never further than an arm's length away for me. Let me talk about the title here. It says that now is the time. Here's the thing, guys, and it's hard to remain positive because it seems like it's the end of the world. It's not. The world isn't going to be the same again, but how many times have you heard that? Never the same after nuclear weapons. It's never the same after we went into space. Yeah, it's always changing. It's always different. So, like in the movie The Day After Tomorrow, with a character played by Dennis Quaid, one of my favorite movies, my favorite actors too. He said, "We survived the last ice age. We're certainly capable of surviving this one." By the way, I'm not drinking any alcohol. I want to talk about that in a minute. I'm drinking just plain old ice water. You guys are at home, locked down. And I realize different areas have different requirements, but some places are locked down for 2 weeks. You got time now to do the stuff you always wanted to do. You do. Now maybe you don't have time to build that addition, you know, out back because you didn't prepare the materials. You weren't ready to do that. But what about all those books that you said you were going to read? Remember? Somebody gave you a book. Somebody gave you some information or whatever to look at, maybe for business, maybe for pleasure or whatever. Yeah, okay, thank you. Now you got time. Guys, why don't you write that love letter to your wife? You know, the one that's always been in the back of your mind and you wanted to do it, but you just didn't have time. Yeah. Now's time to do the crafts that you always wanted to do with your kids. Yeah, it's amazing. We got a little bit of a project this weekend with Phoenix, based on some of the science that Casper was doing. You know, Dr. Casper Koch, he's a PhD chemical engineer, and he was doing the thing about soap and the repelling of the particles and things. My daughter, 7 years old, she wants to do that. That's good. Now, we're not in lockdown, but that doesn't mean that, you know, I don't need to take time to do things because I do. I'm going to put this out there. I am sick and tired of being overweight. Now, you guys who know me a long time, I've lost a lot of weight, but not enough. Now, those of you who have been here in Phoenix Media Ford Studio, you know that, like, there's a meridian line. So I have the green screen here, right? And it's on a pipe network overhead, and I've got another V-shaped pipe network that makes a vocal booth. On that side is exercise equipment. There's an electric bike. It's a semi-recumbent bike, you know, with the pedals are kind of out front, so you're leaning back a little bit. It's more comfortable. And yeah, there you go. Cooking, man, that's a great one, because nothing relieves boredom like cooking. And the family's together. You guys can do stuff that you never did before. And I'm going to say this. Whether you believe it or not, or you're used to it or not, husbands and fathers, if your family sees you pray right now, it can give the whole family courage and strength. Helps. But I have a semi-recumbent electronic bike over here with programs. To the right of it, I've got one of those multi-cable, you know, weight stack machines with the leg pulls and the cables and things. You can do bench press and flies and all kinds of stuff. I've had these machines for a number of years, and I put hundreds of hours on. But the last 2 years, man, I piddled away playing with this stuff. Okay. I didn't realize this, but in a couple months, I'm going to have had this digital console for a year. It seems like I got it a couple weeks ago. So I've been doing a lot of work in here without exercising. And so as of this moment, I am on another serious, and I mean it, serious food fast. Along with the food fast, I'm going to cut way down on alcohol consumption too. Now, I'm supposed to see my friend Renee on Saturday, and he wants to drink a little bit. I'll have a few drinks with him. But yeah, the thing is right now might not be the best time to ride it. But you know what? When I got my my recumbent trike, I also got a set of rollers for it, for the back wheel. And so if I wanted to, I could, you know, it's good like when you're working on the gearing, you know, on the derailleurs, you know, to get the shifter exactly the way that you want it, to put it on the rollers and go through them and go through the front chain ring and everything, you know, make sure everything is working smoothly before you take it on the road. But yeah, I used to have, what the heck was it called? A Cardio Master, but I didn't like it. I got rid of it. And I have, I also have a Total Gym 9000 that I'm going to give to a friend of mine because I haven't used that because I've got the other stuff here. But before we go too much further, tell me, what do you think of these comments here? Is this cool? I mean, and like I said, if I miss something, I can go back like this. And the cool thing is you can do this. And pick comment, delete comment, timeout, hide, cancel. Wow, there's a bunch of things that you can do. If I go to pick comment, then I can go like this and leave it there. See? That's pretty cool. Like, you know, somebody said something that's really, really interesting. But I can, you know, delete them too, which is nice. From here, I don't think, oh, I can actually, yeah, I can time the person out. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize I could do that. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is one of the most important things to do right now is to stay positive. And the numbers are scary. I'm not going to lie to you. They are very scary and they're climbing. There are many U.S. states that have, just single states that have numbers greater than many individual countries. You know, but I was going to show you the numbers. I've got it set up to, no. Now, let's do something else. What I like to do is I like to introduce you to my newest Instagram channel. It's called Phoenix Media Forge. Just how it sounds. Phoenix Media Forge. I'm going to see what that looks like coming up here. That should be pretty cool. You can look at it on the Periscope replay on the monitor here. And it's hard to read because of the, yeah. Anyway, Phoenix Media Forge. I'm going to be doing more music stuff in the future when we get out of this. So, okay, my sister said that's a good challenge. Just off my treadmill and visit it daily. You should. Now you got the time, right? Because I know, and I know you. I say, this is my sister. My sister and husband, they own their own business. I got several businesses, and one of them is a microbrewery, man. I mean, how cool is that? Like, my sister and her husband have a microbrewery. But it's hard work. They're always working. So the thing is now you can take a little time off, dust that off, and you know, everybody's treadmill is a clothes hanger. Everybody's exercise machine is a towel rack. That's just how it is, but that's okay. Now you got time. What about the stuff that you always said you were going to do, but you didn't do it? Here's one for you. Gallardo, how you doing? Nice to see you. Welcome on YouTube. Thank you. A lot of homes have attics. Let me put this out there because I'm an ideas guy. Economy is tough. Hey Minnesota, how you doing? Thanks for joining Taiwan Live TV. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. You're probably taking a pay cut, some kind of a hit. Obviously, right? You have to take you know, time off from work, right? I'll bet. Okay, good. Thanks. It's going. That's good. Welcome on Periscope. I bet you got stuff in your garage or your attic, okay? You don't even have to go out of the house, that you can organize for a big yard sale after this is all over and get rid of some of that stuff and put a little money in your pocket because you're probably going to need it. That's what I was thinking. So, yeah, there you go. See? Excellent. Yeah, see? Excellent. So, the worst thing that can happen is you just let it get, you know, too scared. Yes, they are. They are. But, you know, on the other hand, too, is you may be able to find some some bargains and deals too, because that is a fun little business. You know, a lot of people start it out as a hobby, then they realize they can make some money on it too. So organize that stuff. You know what I do sometimes, because we all do this. Hey Dean, how you doing? Nice to have you with us. Oh yeah. Oh. Yeah, of course you did. Oh my goodness, yeah. Talk about dry it up, right? Well, you got time. So unfortunately, but you know, if you make the best of it, and it sounds like, you know, you got a very good positive attitude. So Dean, how you doing? Nice to have you with us. There's other things too, like yes, you will come back. The problem is, you got to live. You got to make it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, so you're overboard. And you go, okay, I can see the shore. It's only 2 miles. I just got to make it. So just stay afloat somehow. But you can do it. We're talking about cooking earlier, you know? Nothing... And modern society is bad, and I try to do this with my family every night if I can. So exactly. Thank you. Yes, exactly. A meal with the family, all together. Sit down meal at the table. You got the time. You don't have to rush now. Cook together. Get the kids involved. You know, if you're just a husband and wife, that's fine. Just you two guys, you know, together. Make it special. Got to be positive. The way I look at it, you know, I've always been from the old-fashioned school that, you know, men are here to look out for our families, protect our women, and we have to take the lead. We have to be leaders in this, and we have to be positive in this. And I'm just encouraging, particularly the men, you know, and it's not that women can't, no, but everybody who's a parent especially, because I know even though we live in Taiwan and we have a lot of things going for us, you know, low numbers, high health care, excellent CDC. In fact, the vice president of Taiwan is an epidemiologist. And so even so, my daughter's a little scared. And so I have to reassure her that everything is going to be okay. And she can't, you know, see me worried about it. She can't see me apprehensive, you know. It's hard, it's tough, because sometimes I'm reading things and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I agree. I definitely agree. I know I said some things that sounded kind of old-fashioned, but I'm an old-fashioned guy. No, they were only closed for 2 extra weeks after school vacation. We came back from Thailand on February the 4th, and it was supposed to be the next Monday, if I'm not mistaken, that Phoenix was supposed to go back to school. And before she went to school, they announced that they would be closed for 2 weeks. But since then, she's been going back. Now, this is cool. We use Line, L-I-N-E. It's going actually not bad. We have under 300 cases. The second wave is hit. We're prepared for it. The second wave from Europe is going to be followed immediately by the third wave from the United States. You guys are just beginning to see this now, okay? Because right now, the United States is only behind Italy. The United States surpassed Spain. So you can see the U.S. is climbing higher on the number of cases, which makes sense. It's a bigger place. But when you look at all the European countries, you know, together, of course, that's a huge number. But the government right away subsidized masks, and Oh yeah, it does. It does. Subsidized masks, ramped up mask availability, and CDC's done an excellent job. They've really, I mean, they locked the country down. No foreigners can visit. The only people that can come back are people that have permanent residency here, or a resident card, or citizens. And so now it's, Taiwanese that have been romping all over Europe, and they're coming back and they're all infected. That's why our numbers are going up. We're getting like 25, 30 new ones a day. Yes, yes, because they waited too long and nobody knew it was going to be this big, and it just takes a couple weeks for it to show up. That's the problem. Excuse me. Now, I have a cough almost all the time. I live in the industrial park. I live in Taiwan. Our air quality has been really lousy lately. So I have a cough and I have sinuses, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I use sinus rinse and stuff like that. So, well, that's good. But I'll sometimes be coughing and people looking at me like this, and I'm going, it ain't that, it ain't that. So that's the other thing. You're going to have allergies, right? It's allergy season. And people get the flu. It's flu season anyway. Doesn't mean it's that one. Doesn't mean that's what it is. So, yep. Yeah, their head snaps and they go, oh boy, so. But anyway. But the CDC originally ridiculed Taiwan and said that Taiwan was overreacting, and now the shoe's on the other foot. I mean, bad. I did a kind of a rant about 2 weeks ago where I kind of said, I told you so, didn't quite cut it. Yes. Yes, it is. Oh yeah, well, yeah. I'm not. Yeah. For that particular reason, yes, Gallardo. And I got an email from the State Department, and I didn't tell you about this. Yeah, lose the whole summer. Yeah, you're right about that. I got, from the State Department. It's from AIT, which is the de facto embassy. Let me answer Dean. I don't think yes, Dean. This is PRISM chat, and it stays, and I can scroll it up and down, and I can pick, I can pick special comments, and I can put them out. Like, for example, I can go like this, and I can pick your comment, and I can move it over here like this, and keep it there if I wanted to, because if I want to talk about, something from here, I can put it over here to, so, just for example. So, that's not a bad idea, actually, for people like me who are always rambling and going on and having to remember, now, where was I? I go, okay, if I pin somebody's comment, then I can, not forget it. So, what were we talking about? I don't know. So, there you go. New comments are down here. Okay, there you go. So, about the states. I got this email, and it said that for all U.S. citizens who reside overseas, make immediate plans to return to the United States. And then it said, and avoid international travel. I read it like 4 times. And I still didn't understand it. Yes, but not in this room. I need a filter for this room. Actually, I'm getting ready to do a lot of work, acoustic work in this room, and my air conditioner died, and I took it out because it died at the end of the season, and I didn't need it, through the winter. But I'm going to need to do something pretty soon. And it said, return to the U.S. unless you are prepared to remain where you are for an extended period of time. Well, I've already been here like 16 years, so I don't have a domicile anywhere else, so I'm staying here. But I'm going to tell you, absolutely, I am very, very glad that I am where I am, and it just happens to be random probabilities. I mean, this is it. You know, I mean, I love this place and I picked this place, but it turns out that in this particular situation, this is the place to be. This was the safest place, really, that there is. And because we're not locked down, you know, and people, hey, how you doing? Nice to have you with us on Twitch. You do? Oh man! And so like, okay, so are you in the hospital right now, or are you at home recovering? I mean, you can't just, man, you gotta like, home isolation. Okay, well, fist bump, man. You're gonna make it, man. That's gotta be tough. And all of my viewers, man, were like, sorry to hear that. Thanks for watching on Twitch. I haven't been on Twitch in a long time. This is my first one, my first actual not test stream. So they are hard to take in, and but we're going to get through this, and I'm trying to help everybody remain positive, because there are things you can do. Now, this gentleman, Ekte, I think you said, Ekte, I think, yeah, home isolation, and you might, you know, not be able to do a lot of things because you're ill. But for those of you who are home in quarantine, seriously, there are a lot of things that you can do, and I like to keep a list of my like get around to it list, and so when I get a situation where I got to block a time, I go to the list, go, oh, you know what? Hey, now I got time to do that. So this is great, you guys, because we got Periscope, we got Twitch, and we got YouTube comments. You guys can all see each other's comments, you know, and it's great. Playing Fortnite, okay, well, there you go. So you're not that sick then. Come on, man. Just make sure you get some, make sure you get plenty of rest. That's the thing. Now, I'm not a doctor, okay, but there is new information that came out, and whatever I say, I would like for you to examine and study for yourself. But they say that using NSAIDs, or even if you're using steroidal medications to lower the fever, that can make the virus worse, because all the antiviral processes that happen in the body work better at elevated temperature, which is why the body heats up. I am from the U.S. and I live in Taiwan. Yeah, thanks. Well, that's part of PRISM, and I don't want to take, you know, credit for it completely, but I kind of pushed Jake at PRISM into doing this, because actually I got a problem with Africa TV. Nobody captures Africa TV chat. Nobody. I mean, capturing these three is pretty easy, because even Restream can do that, but nobody captures Africa, but PRISM can. So, no, PRISM, PRISM, like a light prism, not prison. I know, because sometimes I write PRISM on my phone and it corrects it to, so it's actually, I'll just write it here on the PC. It's in all capitals, so it's PRISM Live Studio, and so I'm on the PC now. But this is a mobile phone, and so PRISM Live Studio allows me to do a whole bunch of other stuff. No, PRISM, excuse me. I don't think so. I don't think you'd be dead. But thanks for joining. You take care. Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. Yep. Now, I'm relatively certain that the multicast will also work with the RTMP, which if it does, then it will go to Restream, but I haven't tried them. Haven't tried them together. So let me do this again. I'm going to put this over here this time. I would like you guys, please, to check out my Phoenix Media Forge, and there's also a website, phoenixmediaforge.com. But that's my newest Instagram. And so, for those of you who really aren't familiar with PRISM Live, we're going to do one of our famous bumpers here in a second. So let me go ahead and play this one.
Hi, this is Dave in Osaka, live from Greenland, and you're watching Taiwan Live TV with MJ Klein.
Thank you, Dave. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I wonder what's going to happen with Kenny Rogers' fried chicken places. Do they still exist? I don't know. I haven't been in the States in so long, I don't even know. So, yeah, he was good. He was good. All this incredible talent is passing away, and to be perfectly honest with you, I don't see many people stepping up and replacing them. So, anyway. So tell me, what are you guys gonna be doing during your quarantine or your recovery? What are you gonna be doing for recreation? What are you gonna try to get accomplished? What's on your list of things? Yeah, no kidding. Yep. What's on your list of things that you're going to get done? Now, I'm going on a fast, and right now I am at 117, 118 kilograms, and I'm 190. I'm 6'3". And so, because I cannot use the Imperial system anymore. So, yeah. Well, Georgia's a nice state. Georgia is a nice state. We got friends in Georgia. All right, now look, let me put this up here, because if you'd like to send us a postcard, you can go to TaiwanLive.tv. Yeah, thanks, Dean. You can go to Taiwan Live TV. You can go to the late night show. It's a pull down on the pull down menu, or you can just go /late night -show, and you can send us an email to late night at Taiwan Live TV. So, and fasting is underrated. Yes, it is. Well, I'm not actually doing keto so much, Gallardo. Nice to see you, Taiwan. And yeah, I'm not actually doing keto per se. I try to eat low glycemic foods and low carb foods. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm like everybody else, man. Low carb foods, they make me feel good. I like them. I like potato chips, that kind of stuff. So, what can I say? But I'm on a food fast starting today. I'm just tired of it, I am so tired of it. I can't, yeah. And so, what I'm going to do is put in at least 3 good exercise bike sessions a week. Now, here's the thing. When you're doing fasting, of course, the water comes off real quick, and then you start losing the body fat, but the problem is you can also lose muscle if you don't try to build it and exercise. And taking DIM can help, especially men, because it's a testosterone protector, and it'll reduce if you've got your estrogen level is too high. And if you're a woman and it's not high enough, whatever your estrogen level is supposed to be, whether you're male or female, it will balance it where it is. And most men, estrogen's too high, which explains, sometimes big bellies and man boobs and, hard to build muscle, And so if you take DIM with bioperine, the black pepper extract that helps you to absorb things, that will help you a great deal. So if you add a little bit of exercise to those, to fasting, bam, the weight's going to come off. You could actually, and the thing is I've had discussions with people that people actually think that if you don't eat for 2 weeks, you will die. They actually think that. Not at all. I mean, water is like 3 days, about as long as you can go, 3 or 4 days, right? But, because they used to say, 30 seconds, for no air, and 3 minutes of, no oxygen, or, whatever. And 3 days for water and 3 weeks for, but it doesn't work like that, so. Yes, he does. I know what you mean, it's a legacy. No, he is. He is. And he's one of the gentleman guys. Well, let me ask you a question. When's the last Kenny Rogers scandal that you ever heard of? What does that tell you? There you go. So I'm really enjoying my ice water here, and I got the fan on behind me because I'm not doing anything. Later tonight I'm going to be cutting some guitar tracks. I've got a nice Taylor acoustic over here that I borrowed. I got a tuner you can't see on the headstock. And I'm going to be using, and has a microphone built in and a pickup. And I have 2 condenser microphones that I'm going to be using on it too in the room. I'm going to record actually 3 tracks. 1 output of the guitar, and then the other 2 tracks are going to be from the condenser mics in the room. It should sound pretty good. I'm going to have fun with that after the stream. At some point in the future, I'm going to actually start streaming some of the recording sessions, but I think what I want to do on the Phoenix Media Forge, because there is a Phoenix Media Forge Twitter account and a corresponding Periscope account. There's a corresponding YouTube account for Phoenix Media Forge. What I want to start doing is like mixing videos, the philosophies that I developed in the 80s, working on 24 tracks from the 70s, 8 tracks, and through into the 90s, right before the DAW revolution. I use Reaper, but I want to go back to 24 track tape is what I want to do. I want to get a 24 track tape machine. Just not for this room. Where do you think music is going? I have no idea. I just know that it's not really performance based anymore. See, I met some guys, and my neighborhood was full of like Filipino guys, they're factory workers and stuff, and I occasionally see these guys, ask them what they're doing, they got a little rock band and stuff. And a guy tells me that he just auto-tunes everything. He didn't even worry about, trying to sing it. He just lays something down and auto-tunes it. They auto-tune the guitar, they do everything, and they quantize it and stuff. And some of the tracks that I have heard are just so unrealistically perfect that it just squeezed the life out of it, Rick Beato he's done a really good series on YouTube called What Makes a Song Great, and he did What Makes a Song Great on More Than a Feeling by Boston, one of the most entertaining shows I've ever seen. And Rick said something really interesting, because he said, you notice how, when Brad Delp sang the second chorus, it's not exactly the same as the first chorus because he recorded it on tape. They didn't just, highlight it, copy, and paste, which is what happens. So a lot of what we call the DAW kiddies, the Digital Audio Workstation, DAW, the DAW kiddies, they only got one take in them, and I've seen this too in the old days, in the studio, where you used to prop people up with drugs and alcohol, to get them in front of a mic. And so I can't stand those talentless schmucks. Get out of here, just get off the stage, get out of the studio. But and everything seems to be beats, and there's so much of a. I don't mean this in a negative way. I'm just telling you what I'm observing. There's a heavy R&B and rap influence on stuff that just to the point where it sounds the same. So yes, it is. It is. It sounds the same. I mean, you take a song like Free, All Right Now. It's just a guitar, bass, drums, and it's Paul Rogers, and there's no auto-tune, And so now people are going to think this is crazy. But if you know Reaper, okay, the DAW, I don't use any plugins. And I don't use a master track because I don't need it. I record directly on tracks using my Behringer X32. I set up buses on the X32 that I send to whatever tracks I want to record on. I have tweaked my system so I have a 2.5 millisecond latency, which is like tape, and I use the X32's effects racks, and I don't auto-tune. I have this rule. I don't keep dog takes. I mean, we have an old saying, you can't polish a turd, okay? And you can't. So I don't try to. If I sing something that sounds bad, I do it again. It's easy. I don't have one in me. I got 100 in me. I can do it all night, and then I get tired, get a good night's sleep, do it the next day or the next day. It doesn't matter. You do it until you get it right. So I don't keep dog takes. If you look at the tracks and the lanes, there's single lanes. I don't do very much editing. Back in the old days, I was really, really good at punching in with 24-track tape machine. It was good, really good. Using Patrick Mayhew's Automate series of X32 Reaper Automate, and I use the Stream Deck. I actually have I've got it, it's set up for editing and so forth on my Stream Deck, and I even have a Reaper transport control in the Stream Deck, so I can hold it in my hand and go like this, so I can stand up and sing. I know I don't look like much. I'm 64, but I still can sing, and I don't need auto-tune. I never have. I never will. You listen to the records I did. Look for me on Spotify. Go to mjk.asia. All that stuff we did in the 80s and the 90s, and we didn't use auto-tune on any of it. But I will tell you a story, because I know you guys like stories. Who remembers the show Star Search? Guy came in, 24-track studio. Came in during the day. And his girlfriend wants to do an audition tape for Star Search, okay, to sing. I'll never forget. I'm not going to tell you what the name of the song is because it may be able to identify who it is. Anyway. So, Bill Ferruzzi, probably the most famous recording engineer in New England at the time, the only guy who ever worked with the Beatles. He mixed them live in the mid-'60s when they came to Wonderland. So, give you a second. Take the phone in the restroom with you, man. That's what I do. Excuse me. So, Bill, Bill's worked with Julie Budd and all this Star Search, yep. Bill's worked with everybody, man. Okay, he knows all these people, and he's worked with some like real. I mean, he's worked with all the big stars, and so this girl came in off the street with this guy. This is her boyfriend. He's paying for it. He's got the money. So Bill set up a $3,000 vintage Neumann microphone in front of her and cut this track, and it stunk. It was terrible. And he didn't like it because he didn't sound good. But the sound was immaculate because Bill Ferruzzi knows how to record vocals. The girl just can't sing. And this is 24-track analog 2-inch tape. There is no auto-tune. I mean, we have an Evitide harmonizer, but it doesn't do anything like what we're talking about, like these computerized plugins do, you know, the analysis and so forth and pitch correction. No, nothing like that. Didn't exist. So Bill called me up. He said, "Yeah, this guy's going to come in tomorrow, man. Okay, talking about cool stuff. Hopefully it's cool." So we're gonna. He said the guy's coming in, and it's a Star Search audition tape. I said okay, and didn't really elaborate why the guy wants to come back in. So as soon as he came in, the girl comes in. I'm listening to her track, and it's terrible. And the other thing too, this is the Boston area, and you know, if you're gonna be a singer, you have to develop kind of a neutral accent, unless you're going country, and then you got to have that country accent. You know what I mean? There's got to be like a hay bale in every shot, you know. But otherwise, you know, unless you're, I don't know, going for something really Boston ethnic, and she wasn't. She's just trying to be, you know, just trying to be a star. So, I had her do a bunch of tracks, man, and I tried to coach her because, you know, I'm a singer. I know. I used to teach, and I know. I did my best. I coached her, and we did different takes. And it's not like, you know, in Reaper where you can have all these different takes, you know, in lanes, and you can split them up, and you can, you know, this word, this word, this word. You know. No, this is 24-track tapes, so they're on physical faders, and you have to physically move switches to turn them on and off. It's so I asked the guy, you know, how far do you want to go in this? How, you know, how deep? This is going to take, you know, a couple hours for me to piece all this together. And he says, just do whatever it takes. Yep. But, you know, nobody was more surprised than I was after I saw Boston in concert and then met them later at the show. And they really did influence me to move to Boston. And then when I moved to Boston, I found out that nobody sounded like them, that they sounded like everybody else. Everybody there pretty much sounded like the Cars. Nobody was more surprised than me. So anyway, my friend Joe was there. My friend Joe ran a video company, and he was in the control because he liked to hang out and check out what we were doing with audio, you know. And he was sitting right there, you know. And so you know, bow to me, come on, man. And so he was there when the guy said, just do whatever it takes. And I did. And it, in my opinion, it was just, I mean, I'm sure her mom liked it. I had every patch cable, I think, in the studio, in the patch bay, every kind of effect to cover up how bad it was. Just, you know, like to use delay, so the repeat of the first, you know, word would kind of cover over the second word that she didn't quite hit the pitch on. That kind of stuff, right? It was ridiculous. And he actually complained about the bill. And Joe said, "Hey man, I was there. I heard him." He said, do whatever it takes. I said, yeah. It took 5 hours, and of course, there's no way that she got the audition. There's no way at all. So Well, we managed to not talk about the big epidemic. We did have some visitors from Twitch. I appreciate you joining. I'm really sorry to hear that you've been infected, and I didn't really want to ask where he was from. If he told me I was fine, but I didn't want to ask because I don't know. Maybe I'm being paranoid, but I thought it might make some people nervous or something. I don't know. If somebody said, "Yeah, I'm from such and such," and then a viewer later goes, "Wow, that's where I live. I live down the street." So, yeah. Well, the thing is, right, is it's music that you can listen to and play back, and it's it's memorable. It's memorable stuff, And so what I did was I bought the remastered CD. Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, and I love all my viewers. Now I'm going to show you something. This is really funny. Now, see these machines here, right? This is a 24-track 3M M79. Oh, the disc fell out. I know this machine very, very, very well. We had one at Fleetwood, and I cut about half my stuff on it before we switched to a Studer. And if you look at the Queen movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, where they're cutting Brian May's solo in the studio, that's the machine. The 3M M79. These machines are Scully's. See? These machines are Scully's. Yeah, I can actually, and I have. I used to get compared with them all the time. Now this is funny because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 racks or 12 channels of electronics, so that's a 12-track. And I know the Scully has a 12-track head stack because Studio C in Fleetwood, we had a half-inch Scully 8-track that had the 12-track head block, and I asked them to put it on. We actually cut some stuff. There was a record label called Throbbing Lobster. And if you look up, there's a 1985 interview in Spin magazine that mentions my name because they came down to do this story on Chuck, the owner, and we did some stuff in the back studio on 12-track. It was a lot of fun. I used 4 tracks on drums. This is a picture of Tom Schultz with the Scully, and it's there's 6 and 6. See, so I'm not sure how he had that set up because he's got shows him with 2 machines, but this is the 3M M79, and if he used the 3M M79, to cut More Than a Feeling, no wonder it sounds good. The machine was horrible as a transport. It ate tapes. It did bad things many times, but sonically it was incredible, and it was extremely fast on punch-ins and punch-outs. And these look like I'm not sure what these are. These might be DBX compressors, and you can see he's got an analog console, right there, analog console. So just to give you a little bit of a peek, there's an analog console right there, and it's a 32-track analog console. So we got one of those too. So yeah. Yeah. I like Fleetwood Mac's sound a lot. I gotta pick up this disc for step on it. I like Fleetwood Mac's sound a lot. But see, here's the thing. You were asking me about where music's going. There's a YouTube channel called White Sea Studio, and it's a young guy. He's from Holland. He's a Dutch engineer, and he gets it. He's got a 24-track tape machine. He uses Reaper, and he's doing hybrid mixing and hybrid engineering. And that's the way to go, in my opinion. And I try to make, even the stuff I'm doing on digital, I try to make it sound on analog. And if you run it through a tape machine, it does make it sound analog. So that is ultimately my plan. My plan is also to install 32 channels I/O on Dante Audio Network to get in and out of Reaper on Dante, and be able to to cut all the tracks, all the drums, guitars, everything that really benefit from that analog sound. on this machine, on this console. But use like the X32 with the tube microphone to cut directly into Reaper in the digital domain. That way, that's my goal. So stay positive. Write down the things you need to do. You got 2 weeks, man. 2 weeks. You can play with your kids. You can make projects, because you got to keep your kids busy too. Can't act scared. You know, you got to reassure them. Let them know everything's going to be okay. Eat together as a family. Spend time. You know, write that love letter to your wife. Write a little letter to your kid. Seal it up. Read it back to them later. You know, that way they know that you have faith that you're going to get through this. You know, show it to them, oh, I wrote you a letter. We're going to read it next year. Yeah, it's all my thoughts about this. Things like that means a lot to a kid. Keeps them going. Got to keep them going. So there you go. Well, yeah, you can't be unkind, but I will. The last comment I'm going to make about music is that there are a lot of people making music that shouldn't be. Because, I mean, back in the 80s, there were only, you know, a certain number. Yes, read to your kids, absolutely, especially at bedtime. There are only a limited number of recording contracts, and you know, it's like right now, it's like there's 20,000 people in an 8x10 room all yelling. You can't hear any of them because it's just saturated. It's too much. So. But I mean, a lot of people follow me on, on Twitter. They follow my recording artist MJK. They follow my Phoenix Media Forge accounts, and they're all rappers and beat makers. There's nobody doing rock, nobody except me. And my hook line is, classic rock done right. In my bio, I say I'm doing 80s rock in the 21st century. And that's what I'm doing. So. You guys take care, and I'll have something for you pretty soon. I've been working out the kinks. See, the thing is, I've been building the studio and rewiring it, cutting tracks, not happy, going back, rewiring things, and so forth, because I just have been piecemealing it together, so that's why it's taken a long time. But thanks so much for joining, you guys. Stay positive, really, and I will see you again in a couple more days. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your participation, and my heart goes out to those of you who are stuck and who are ill in the hospital. Don't give up. You can make it through this. You guys take care. Thanks so much. And that is a wrap.